my painting, I usually paint myself, my family, my best friends, and usually the people I know, and especially I miss them. So I came to the America in 2018, and I think I missed a lot. It was a huge culture shock for me, and then so like people sleep at 9 p.m. and it was like such a huge difference for me, and like yeah, like I went to the streets and like after 7 p.m. no one was there, and it was like like yeah, we are all about like dancing and like all of like eating so much food, spending so much time hanging out, and like so much gathering. So I think like this body of work started with me coming to United States, and I missed a lot about my home, the culture, my friends, my family, and everything else. So I spent so much time to talk with my best friends, my family, and look at all the pictures that I had. And I keep asking my friends and my family to send me so many pictures. And like before that, from undergrad, I really into drawing and draw and paint human body. Especially I painted myself and my friend a lot. I did have I had a really so much study of my self-portrait, like human body portrait, and human body. And then I think I was just look at those pictures and start to like just paint those people, and me being there, or being like like this kind of like the idea of like being in between a space. So I was here, but I also was in my home. So like anytime I have a dream about my home, anytime I see a dream, it's all about my home. I'm living in my parents' house. So like there is this duality that was very interesting. So I try to bring, like first I start like with a really like huge figure body, so you see like a little space around me, and then I start to bring those space with like other things, adding those space to my work too. So usually these like on the other side, there are so many things happening in my home in terms of politics and censorships of women by the patriarchal society. So I was thinking of that a lot, because that was part of the reason that I wanna move to another place. So I read a lot about those kind of women's right and human right, and how these patriarchal societies censored women in Iran. And that time, I guess I decided to make this space for my figure, which they can exist freely, which is in contrast with Iranian reality. And I think at the time I familiarized with Michel Foucault, who is a German philosopher talking a lot about heterotopia space. So in her book Heterotopia, he's talking a lot about how some places, how some things like specifically Persian carpet make a space as a like transform spaces to a like secret and a special space, a space outside of convention. Yeah, like the Persian carpet it's very valuable in my culture, and like like people have Persian carpet on the walls, or they don't walk on the Persian carpet with shoes, or it's a place that people like eat on it, or like pray on it, communicate with the higher power. So it's really secret, it's really valuable, and like they're like, yeah, people have like so much respect for them. I think part of this is because the process of making these kind of carpet is really interesting. It's like only one person, usually women, are working on this kind of carpet. They're weaving this for like a year or 2 years, non-stop working, and they pay a little amount of money. So everyone knows like how they are like so much effort happen for these, and also like it's not happening anymore. So like the number of people who make these kind of carpet, or who know how to make these kind of carpet, are like very low. So it's getting like, so they producing less and less. So yeah, so I started with the picture that I took from my mom sitting on the Persian carpet in my grandparents' house, and it was like such an abstract painting, and I just like have a little amount of like those carpet, and my mom in a very abstract way just doing something, and then I familiarized with the idea of heterotopia space, another world which is like outside of convention, and I decided to work on and evaluate, not evaluate, but like enhance more on the Persian carpet, and bring more and more those kind of space to my paintings. And yeah, so my palette, the first Persian carpet, the first carpet that I paint was inspired with my grandparents' carpet. So I set my palette based on those color. So there was like this beautiful alizarin red, and this like green, Verdian green, and ultramarine blue, and like these kind of like yellow, cadmium yellow that I just have in my palette, and start my painting sometimes. For example, for this painting, I am starting with a really loose and abstract way of painting. So I just set my palette, I just don't look at any picture or anything. I'm listening to, any like songs or podcasts or anything, and I'm just go and paint and like make a abstract painting. And then I start, that painting it's all about layering. So then I start to bring like like those carpet, and then figure, and then other stuff. And sometimes I feel like, oh, it's okay, I like that unfinished quality of painting here, and I leave it. And sometimes I feel like that I need to work more, maybe like bring more color, more details, and I work more. But I usually keep some those abstract quality in my work. And yeah, so I guess those kind of color and those kind of like pattern act as a bridge in my work to transform my figures to this like secret space, to make this world outside of convention. And yeah, another feature is really important to my work is gaze. So most of the time these figures are looking at the viewers, and I think it's a really great way to for these paintings to connect with the viewer these ways. So like you see the gaze and you look at that for a while, and I think like it's it's a good way of my work to connect with the viewer. And yeah, what else I can add? Yeah, that painting, I started that painting last year, I guess, during the Thanksgiving break, and then I was working on it, and then during the spring break, Jerome and I went to Sandhill Crane. So I saw crane, and I always, like, since I moved to Nebraska, I was always thinking of the sunset and sunrise. It's really interesting, all the color in the sky. The sky, there is something interesting about the sky here, and I guess, like, the first day I arrived here, Aaron told me that, like, sunrise and sunset is really nice here, and I have it in my mind. And then I went to the Sandhill Crane, I don't know, like Fort Kearney or some places, and I think, like, those bright orange was really interesting for me. So I just decided to bring those really bright oranges to my work, and maybe add a little bit of, like, these bluish, greenish more to my work. And then I call this painting Sandhill Cranes, even though you don't see any like any crane or any, like, any sign for Nebraska, but, like, I think I inspired a lot, especially in colors, a lot inspiring for me, and then I call it that way. And I think, like, these painting, it's a lot, like, darker, and when I made this, I think I didn't really feel like I'm in a good mood, so it's a lot, dark, but and that painting, it's, like, more happy and more bright, and yeah. Anything I wanna add? How am I doing with time?
7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay, so do you have any question?
So how does it feel inviting Western civilization into, like, these special spaces? Like, do you ever think about that perception there? Like, if we would understand the importance of Persian rugs and such.
That's a great question. So yeah, I guess usually people in America or American people, they have no idea of, like, outside of United States. Like, maybe, like, they might be know a little about Europe, but I don't think they really have like lots of idea about Middle East, for example, and like how life is there, and lots of the perception of people is aligned with the media. So, like, I got, like, so many people see me talking about my work, like, asking really annoying question about how are we, like, driving there, or like is there, like, so much camels. But I think like, there are so many culture happening. We do have a, like, really old culture, and I think part of what I am doing, I try to make a scene of, like, my life from Iran here, and sometimes it kind of, like, combined with the life I have here in United States. And I cannot say that I am not inspired, because I think, like, so many things, the sound, all the sound that I hear, all the color I am seeing, all of them are very, very different, and they definitely affect my work. But I am really happy to share, like some part of like some Iranian woman, uh, some scene of like our everyday life in my painting. Mhm.
So you have a lot of abstract qualities in your paintings. How do you decide, like with yourself, when it's like done and finished?
Yeah, it's a really it's very hard for me. It's very hard. You start your painting, sometimes you like it, but you can always continue your painting. Like even right now, the day I had my work here, I again come back and add something. So it was wet in the first day because I was like, oh, maybe that place needs more. But usually, it's really depending on you. And usually I ask some of the people around me. Like I ask my friends, my colleagues, how do you feel like about this? How do you see it's like, is it finished or is it not finished? And sometimes people say like, I think it's enough, like you're good, yeah, just don't overwork on it. And sometimes people say, oh, I think that part of those pants needs more detail, and you can add more detail, or that carpet, that section of carpet is not resolved yet, for example. So sometimes I'm asking, I always talking with my peers and with my, like even right now I'm talking a lot with Jerome and like other people and like anyone, and ask them about their opinion.
This piggybacks a little bit on what's going on. So, but the figure in the painting right behind you, and her environment seems to be kind of coming in and out of existence, like she's kind of barely there, right? And then the figure on the far right, like that's one more tangible and concrete and kind of grounded. Is that the product of different sort of internal spaces for you? Are you thinking about different ideas? Is it just happenstance? Like how do you
I think it was really depending on my mood. So like that time, I feel like I'm more like comfortable with my space and I'm more stable. And that one, I did this during the residency when I was in New York, and I didn't have a really great experience. So so I was like crying a lot when I was painting this, and I think I also was really wanna not be there sometimes because I missed home a lot, and I see myself visit my home last summer, and it didn't happen, and I cried a lot, and then my mom got sick, and everything was just like so bad. So I was a little bit, I was just talking about like this being in the middle of a space, so you are kind of like suspended. So you are here, but you are thinking about your home, and sometimes it's better. Sometimes I'm better. I'm more comfortable. But sometimes I really worry about like so many things, or struggling with my parents or friends or any of them. So I think like the difference between these two paintings are like just my personal life at the time.
And then so I mean, I guess the way that I make, like I tend to sometimes, if anything takes me as long as the painting is more like a constructive process, right? Like I'm not actively deciding as much as you are. Like, is it difficult as your mood sort of changes from day to day if a painting lasts a duration of time? Like how do you not become utterly dependent on like where you're at that day and like undo something really great that happened the day before? Like how do you navigate as an artist the
great question. So I believe that you have to finish your painting soon. Like so, like I don't like to like have my painting for like it shouldn't be take line for like month or 2 months or like like a year sometime. I would like to like have it like in a week or 2 weeks, so that and usually your mood is not really changing. Usually my mood is not like big change, but I think like I am looking at this painting right now and I see like it's such a dark painting and like and I remember lots of like like lots of tears and like so many things happening on my personal life during the summer and during the residency, but
You're good on time.
yeah, but yeah, we can continue that.